Well, I am. Pony is. You're sitting
Wait,
down.
are you and Brad in the same spot?
We are. We're social distancing together.
You're not virtually doing that, are you?
That
would be wicked cool. That would be wicked cool.
In real life. We've actually gone live. We've been live for 20 seconds.
Right on.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, of course, we know with FaceTube, we always have to wait, a certain amount of time before
get a couple of eyes on it.
Yeah, a couple of eyes. But knowing that it's us four, we're probably not going to get many eyes at all. So
exactly.
We had that right at the start. But it's good to see you guys. My name is Peter, for those of you who are out there. Peter Shravmate at BoxBrownie.com. This is Brad.
How you doing?
Yeah, Brad's our photo guru in real life. This is the photographer, owner, founder of BoxBrownie.com. So I know Brad has never met Jesse Peters before. So say g'day to Jesse.
G'day, mate. What? How you doing?
Hey, what's up, man? How are you?
I'm terrific, to be honest. Yeah.
Now,
terrific.
We have a bit of an international feel going on here. And for once, the American is completely out of his depth because we have the two Commonwealth nations represented in Australia and Canada. And we only have one American, which is quite rare for us, really. Jesse, tell us where you're from, what do you do, who are you?
Yeah, I've just realized I didn't put the details in my name bar like the rest of you have here. So let me explain. First of all, this is my first StreamYard. I've been on a whole bunch of others, but this is my first StreamYard, so rookie mistake. I am Jesse Peters. I am a realtor in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, which is nowhere near Vancouver. Winnipeg, yeah. Nowhere near Toronto, nowhere near Vancouver. But, I'm a 28-hour drive either way. Here in Winnipeg,
did you say 28?
Oh, yeah, easily.
28. Look, when they said social distancing, Winnipeg took that to the next level, didn't they?
Man, we've been social distancing for 119 years. This is why we have, what are we at right now? And we'll timestamp this with a little COVID talk. We're not even in double dig. We have nobody in the ICU right now.
Wow.
Really?
Wow, that's impressive.
Zero.
Yeah, well, to be honest, that have to drive 28 hours to deliver it. Ain't nobody got time for that.
There's not a lot of international travel coming in. There's not a lot going out. It's
that's actually how the Iditarod started, The Iditarod dog race, they were across the entire state of Alaska and had to get the medicine there. So you guys are in that situation.
That is us. And we are rolling out phase 1, getting back. Beyond the Essentials is happening here now. And so yeah, that's me, the social savvy realtor with Remax Executives, rolling out social and video goodness through mobile devices and tech and VR for a bunch of years, helping my clients get seen, showcased, and sold, and building brand and connecting with amazing humans in our industry because of it. So it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and I met you for the first time at Remax R4 recently, which was a lot of fun. You and Mike were kicking around there at some kind of barbershop. Is that there?
And it wasn't the first time I had heard of you.
Really? I'm sorry about that.
The Australians and Alicia and Darren would just leave it at that. So
yeah, well, that legendary Bon mate. So big shout out to Alicia and Darren. And Mike as well. If he's joining, I don't think he'd probably be asleep by now. Dale, tell us about yourself. We know who you are. What have we been? We've been mates since we've been to America, right? You were on that first.
We're going on 3 years.
Yeah, that'd be right. That's a long
July. It'll be 3 years, right?
Yeah,
is that right? July, August will be 3 years.
Yeah, it was San Fran.
San Fran 3 years ago. Yeah. So we're almost at 3 years, which is pretty cool. So I'm happy to say I've been using Box Brownie for almost 3 years. So wow. I am Dale Chumbley. For those of you that don't know on here, I'm Dale Chumbley. I'm a realtor. I've been a realtor for 26 years. This year is my 26th year in the business. And I am here in Vancouver, Washington. Now that's the Vancouver that's not in British Columbia. It's the original Vancouver, which I give Michael and everybody a little bit of a hard time. Any of my friends that are up there just pisses them off. And I say, just Google it. And they're like, whatever. So for those of you that are geographically challenged in the United States, Vancouver, Washington is, if you know where Portland, Oregon is, I am 10 minutes from the Portland airport. So if you landed at the Portland airport and you messaged me and said, hey, come get me, I will be there to pick you up before you actually have your bags in hand. I'm about 10 minutes from the Portland airport. For reference of Seattle, I'm 3 hours south of Seattle. So Vancouver, British Columbia is 6 hours north of me. And
right. I was going to say you're almost Canadian. Is that right? Just in proximity to.
That was pretty convincing. That was convincing.
So we're obviously in Australia. We're on the sunny coast in Queensland, Australia, just to make things very international, I suppose. And we've got me too. And we've got a bunch of people joining. So if you've joined, say g'day. Tell us where you're from, because I'm pretty sure between Winnipeg and Sunshine Coast, we cover most of your territory anyway. With a bit of Vancouver, Washington added in there for good measure. And good morning to Rob Levy. I hope you're doing well. He said g'day.
G'day, mate.
Remax Australia, is that right? Somewhere? Yes.
Located in Brisbane.
Wait, you have a Rob Levy at Remax in Australia?
Yeah, yes. That's right. Yes.
So we have a Rob Levy that's a realtor in Portland, Oregon as well. That's cool.
They're breeding. They're everywhere, the Rob Levies. We can't keep control of them. Now, what we're here to do today, so we're pretty pumped about this, because you've known us at least for 3 years since we've been in America, and this is a really good comparison because Jesse's only known us for 3 months.
Pre-COVID, end of February.
Before the world went to custard, let's call it January. It was actually February, but back in February, where we could have human contact and drink beers together, that was when I met Jesse. Now the world has changed and we have to do that virtually. However, what we are so super pumped about today is we think we've cracked the code in order of delivering professional photography to mobile phones. That's what we think we've done, and we've been trying to do this for 3 years. To varying extents, I suppose Dale's very aware that we've always been able to take an iPhone photo and edit that to, very good capacity. In our interpretation, it was never.
Speaking of iPhones, everybody wait.
Hey, how you going? Selfie. Internet selfie. But we'd never gotten it to the professional standard, or a standard that I think we would put a badge on it and go, that's deliverable as professional photography, up until Sunday.
Within reason, but yes.
We've been looking at it, but I hadn't seen any test trials go up. So Sunday, I think, was the first time, Sunday our time, which would have been Saturday yours. Dale cottoned onto a post that I did. I think, Jesse, you were on that post as well, where I actually shot my really messy living room using a particular app. And we're here to largely talk about that today, but if I could just preface that, I'm going to get Brad to explain bracketing to the audience, if that's okay. I'm just going to share a screen. I don't know if we all disappear. Oh, no, there we go. We go over to the side. So fantastic. I'm going to get Brad to explain bracketing. And to do that, I have 5 of the examples that he's actually shot himself. I'm hoping that you guys can see that right now. Brad, talk us through this, or not, when it actually pops up. Talk us through this. I think... No, it's not going to. So let me just maximize that so you can see this screen and zoom in. Always technical difficulties when we're a tech company, hey?
While you're getting this set up, I think this is great because I don't know about Jesse, but I know for me, the question that has come over and over again that I've gotten since I posted that photo the other day is, what's a bracket? What's bracketing? And once I explain it, they go, oh, that's what it is. So I think that this is a good opportunity, and I'm glad you're going to share this to give people a really simple idea of what's bracketing. So thank you.
Yeah. I really agree, Dale. And the way I'll explain it will just be, in real simple terms, and bracketing. While Pete's organising.
Well, we got it up. So
which is here. So most marketing we see, especially in the US and beyond, will look like this. So what you want to notice is the window detail. See how there's like a white haze out that window, and you can't actually even see the view out that window. If you shot like this in Australia, you wouldn't get another job, put it that way.
Yeah, and I mean, the one that you're looking at on your screen at the moment, bear in mind, that's overblown. That's actually one of the brackets itself, but it's very similar. Quite often what they do is they take it at a lower exposure and then try and clear up the window detail. So you can actually see out, but it's fuzzy in some way. Would that be right?
Yeah, look, there's a few ways you can shoot interior property. Like most people are just taking one single shot, whether it's on their smartphone or even if they buy, an expensive DSLR, you still can't get that exterior window detail unless you shoot it correctly. So this is quite standard. So what you're seeing here, these are called brackets. So a bracket is, an image taken on a tripod at the exact same spot, not moving it. And what you're doing is you're taking bracketed photos, which means different photos from dark to light. What you're looking at here is the dark shot to expose for that beautiful ocean view outside. Here is another fraction of that bracket. As you can see, they're gradually getting lighter and lighter. This one here, if we're going to pause it, yep. This one here is that shot we spoke about, which is great. But I'm just going to go back. So probably can't, but yeah, thanks, Pete. As you can see, the darker you go, the more detail you get in those windows. And that is essential because we can't make this happen without these brackets. And you do the same thing. You go lighter and lighter. And, I've been shooting for 16 years, shooting real estate. First started shooting real estate on film cameras. So I've really been through the whole technology in real estate marketing. And bracketing is the quickest way to get the best effect on site without spending hours at the property, setting up studio lighting, etc. I shot like this for at least 10 years, and it always got me out of trouble. And as you can see with this edited outcome, once we merge all those files together, you can now see that ocean view out the window. And let's face it, that's a main selling point.
Yeah, and I think the important thing that a lot of people don't understand, so a lot of people know about HDR, and some people understand about bracketing across North America in general. And in Australia, I think the one thing that we fail to understand is that there's no camera known to man that can actually capture what your eye sees. So at the moment where you guys are, you both got ambient light coming in somewhere, and you're able to look outside the window, and your eye does not need to bracket. But if you were to take a standard photo and just shoot, then it would be exposed. Would you agree with that, boys? Is that something that you've experienced?
Yes, absolutely.
100%. Yeah. So that is I suppose the art or the technique I'm going to use of bracketing. Is that right?
Yes. Yes. It's not complicated. It does sound complicated if you don't know about it. But look, we're here to make it real simple and get the best results.
Yeah. And I mean, if you want to look at a YouTube video, there's one at the Box Brownie site where my 9 and 11-year-old, then 9 and 11, they're now 10 and 12, they were both shooting using bracketing. So it's really not complex. And we're going to look at the way Dale did that a little bit later today, because Dale has been bracketing for some time. Is that correct, Dale?
Absolutely. Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So the important,
I trained him.
Yeah, you trained him. Look at you go, the Padawan master. We've got the important thing about this is you can do it using a smartphone. Obviously, the later the model or the
100%.
The later the model, the better it is.
So yeah, the later the model camera, the better results. I've been getting great results on my Samsung Galaxy S9 with a moment click-on wide-angle lens. They're really great. But S20, iPhone 11, these really are the standout devices. They come with a wide-angle lens already. The camera sensors are getting so much better, and they're really getting, very, very close to competing to DSLR. But, some people will agree that they're already better.
So when we did this the other day, I had my iPhone. It's an 11 Pro Max. We downloaded this app, and this app has probably been the missing piece, would you say? There have been apps that do bracketing in the past, and I've been experimenting. I know you've been experimenting even more with the bracketing apps. This particular app was different. Camera Pixels Pro. Why is it different?
It really unlocks the full potential of the camera on the smartphone by letting you literally do manual settings, and you can bracket automatically. And
what that means is that once you've input the settings that are on there, you have it will allow you to capture any rate or any amount of brackets that are out there. But the settings that we've got on our blog give you sort of 7 that are even enough that we can pull some detail out of that.
100%. You know, DSLR, we can get away with 3 or 5 shots because obviously the camera quality sense are better.
Yep.
I will admit, but on the iPhone, this app will let you unlock 7 brackets. So we've got a little bit more detail there to play with the low resolution images. So, you know, or the lower resolution, I should say. So it gives us more editing power.
Yes, and we did actually bring our guests on to talk this morning. I know we've sort of been setting this up.
You're doing a great job.
Yes,
you guys are nailing it.
We're going to get there, but for the audience sake, you're both shooting on iPhone 11s, aren't you?
Yes.
And they're both
iPhone
Pro. Are they? iPhone Pro. Yeah, great. So I have that too. Unfortunately, Brad's stuck on Android. And for those of you who are also stuck on
there's a story behind that too.
Yeah, Android are great for gaming devices. But for those of you who are stuck on, I'm going to wait for the hate mail to come in that chat. Anyone who is stuck on an Android, they call it something different, like they do with most things. It's called the manual camera DSLR Camera Professional. So if you go to your store, you could download that. Even though it's called absolutely nothing like Camera Pixels Pro, it does the same job. Now, important part is you need a tripod, right?
Yes, so you need a tripod. You also need a really decent smartphone holder. So once again, on our blog, we will post this onto our page later if everyone can share it, but BoxBrownie.com/B, or go to the blog section. Or, you know, yeah, there's a camera mount there. You know, all our recommended tripods are on there. You know, whatever you need, please reach out.
Now, did you boys have a camera setup? Did you have a tripod? And you're holding it up now. There we go. I can see Dale. He's very small in the window. There's your smartphone mount. And
nice.
Yeah, okay. Here's one we prepared earlier. It feels like I'm on a cooking show. What have you done with that, Mr. Chumbley? Well, here's one I prepared earlier. Very good. Very good.
Wait, there's more.
Yeah, wait, there's more. So then you need the application settings. So you're probably all scrambling to get these photographed right now. I have the important thing that you need to know is the BoxBrownie.com/B. Brad's come up with all of these and he's put them on the blog. So it's the first blog post that's in there. Yep. I realize the iPhone settings aren't on there just yet, but we'll get them up in the next hour. So
stay tuned. And what's really exciting too, next week, we're actually got our hands on the Samsung Galaxy S20, the Google Pixel 3. We're going to compare that with the iPhone 11.
Yep.
Also against my DSLR. So next week we're shooting that. So, you know, stay tuned for future blog episodes on this topic because it's going to be a hot one.
Yeah. Now, boys, we're going to start with Dale Chumbley. Dale, explain to us how you normally go about shooting prior to this technique. How did you do it?
Right on. So I'll roll just briefly all the way back. So when I very first started working with BoxBrownie, I actually was using, and I did some testing and worked with that, with actually shooting just with the iPhone. And the editing was amazing even for that. And this is back several years. And then as Brad has been helpful in with my DSLR, what I had previously done on listing photos is I have a Canon DSLR and I have a 18-20 lens, so I can get good wide angle shots to pick up the entire room. And with my Canon, the easiest setting for me was a 3 bracket shot. So I would set up my tripod, put my camera on it, and get it set how I wanted it to be done. And then I would use a remote trigger and I would click 1, 2, 3, and it would shoot each of those brackets. And I think I was shooting it as 0. And I think that the default is +1.5, -1.5. And yep. So I was getting those 3 brackets, which as Brad was talking about bracketing, I was getting basically, you know, outside the window, inside with it pretty balanced, and then that brighter shot where it blasted really the other parts out. So that's what I was doing. And I was taking those 3 images and I would send those to BoxBrownie. After I got back to the house, I would upload them into the system, and you all would take those 3 images and do your magic with them, and that blending them together and doing all of the editing and color correcting and everything to generate for me. And here in the States, it's $1.60 to have those images. So that's how I had been doing it up until I saw your post on Saturday. And I have played around trying to find a good bracketing, especially when the iPhone 11 Pro came out. They added that 0.5 feature on the zoom. So we've always had, you know, the regular camera, which has always been good. But once they went to that 0.5, which really is and what I've discovered now based upon this, with the test that I did, the wide angle on the iPhone is actually wider than the wide angle on my 10-18 zoom lens for my Canon DSLR. So
yeah.
So a good tip there with the iPhone, you almost have to actually zoom in a little bit because it does make it look almost a little bit wider than what it is in real life. That can be a benefit to some realtors out there because they want to sell bigger property, but that's what I've noticed in testing.
Yeah, I did try and do that. I don't know whether you guys can add to this, but I did try and zoom in a little on the Camera Pixel Pro, and it wouldn't let me. It would just lock me into the actual lenses that were there. So it's the 0.5, the 1, and the 2. And obviously you're not shooting property using the zoom. But Dale, just so the viewers know, or people on FaceTube right now, these are your three brackets. So this is the way you have been shooting using your Canon DSLR.
Correct. This is the Canon DSLR images, and I would shoot the 3 brackets. And what I did with this test is I set up the tripod in one spot, and within minutes of each other, I did the full shoot with my iPhone 11 Pro locked into this holder. I shot through that, and then I put my DSLR on there just like I would normally do on a listing, went all the way as wide as it would go, and shot my 3 brackets with that. And then I sent both of those to BoxBrownie for you to edit both images, because I wanted to do a true test to see how does this play out. And then I took a third image, I took a third finished image, which was an unedited wide angle lens shot from the iPhone with kind of the native HDR built in, no apps, no filtering, nothing. I just shot that one. And I know you have a copy of that in there as well at some point, and we'll get to that. But I wanted to really see the difference between just right out of the camera, 7 brackets through camera pixels and the 3 brackets from the DSLR.
Yeah, it's brilliant because we hadn't actually seen it. I'd only posted that, and I hadn't had a chance to test it between all of the zooming that I know I've been doing, and certainly you guys have been doing in the last couple of days. Seems like we're glued to our chair. This example here that you're seeing in front of you, this is the edited version of the 3 Canon DSLR brackets, which I think is a pretty good outcome. Would you not agree, Dale? You were happy with this, right?
I was, yeah. For some reason, my outside was a little bit blurry. That wasn't a BoxBrownie problem. I went back to my original bracket, and for some reason, I don't know why it didn't quite focus out there. But that has nothing to do with you guys. That was truly from the original bracket on that particular setting. But yes, overall, the image was very nice and bright, and I was very happy with it.
Just check your aperture and also where you're focusing. But we can investigate that later on, of course, if you need to chat further.
I've never had it happen before. This was the first time. So
right. Awesome. It was scared. I think the Canon DSLR was quite frightened by the iPhone 11 right next to it.
It really was.
So the iPhone 11 takes really, really good photos in its own right. I've been blown away. I certainly know that you guys have been blown away. This is the straight stock standard iPhone 11 unedited. Dale just took this, right? Dale, did you focus on anything? Did you focus on the exterior?
I took this photo and I did not focus on anything. I opened the camera, I went to 0.5 and I pushed the shutter button. I did not touch anything because I didn't want to tell it. In fact, when I was learning bracketing and I used to try and play with this way back, I would actually touch outside the window, shoot that picture, touch inside the house, shoot that picture to at least try and get my own physical brackets, which it's not the way to do it, because even just touching the screen is adjusting that image ever so slightly. And so
you can also get different focus points as well.
Exactly.
Which makes blending for editors a little or quite difficult.
Yeah. Right. So I didn't touch anything. I just simply pushed the shutter button on this one.
Yeah. So I think that's a good photo in its own right. Certainly compared with a lot of the American photography I see, that's even higher standard just there. So the smartphones are legitimately have come of age. They're pretty good these days. Now talk us through this one. So this is now you using Camera Pixels Pro on the iPhone 11 Pro. And this is the first bracket of 7, I believe, we've got in here.
And look,
correct.
Let's even just point out a window detail outside, Dale. Like, how much clearer is it already just by looking at that image?
Oh, yeah, especially absolutely. When I switch between the 11 stock standard and that is incredible.
Yeah, it was no question. And the 7 brackets was absolutely perfect to create a full image of this. So what's happening right now, as you see, is the 7 images. And the beautiful thing, so I mentioned with my DSLR, the way with my Canon, I used a remote shutter to not shake it, but I have to push 1, 2, 3. Now with the Camera Pixels app and on my iPhone 11 Pro, I was able, and in the instructions, it says set a self timer. And that's what I did. I just set a 1-second timer, because that way you eliminate any shake from the camera once you push that shutter. But the beautiful thing is I pushed take photo, and it generated these 7 images without me having to go tap, 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 tap through 7 shots. It shot them all with each of the 7 brackets.
Yeah.
So once you put the recommended camera settings into the app, you press one button, it's all automatic. The camera will literally shoot those brackets, and then all you do is upload those to BoxBrownie.com, and you'll get this sort of output that Pete's about to show right now.
Yeah, so that's the crowning moment as far as I was concerned. When I saw this, there's a couple of differences between this one and let's say the Canon, which you can see now. If I switch between the output of the Canon edited and the output of the 11 edited, you can see that wide angle lens has really come into play. that is
it picks up a half of another window.
I know, and more of that right hand
and more
wall,
of the back wall.
But and we're viewing this image quite large on our desktop, and it looks great. So let's face it, most people are viewing property online on their smartphone. So these images viewed on these sorts of devices are on par with DSLR easily.
Yeah. Yeah, and now I have to stop it at this point because a good friend of yours and mine, Dale, has commented. His name is Brian Copeland. He's asked us if we can edit Dale's hair from a 7 bracket to a single bracket.
It's 7 stories to 1 story.
The cheeky bugger. That's what you get when you get.
This is my COVID coif.
Hi, Brian, wherever you are. Hi, CJ.
I'm gonna have to keep doing this because I'm just gonna let it keep growing.
Yeah. Now,
hi, Brian.
We've completely neglected our second guest, Jesse Pete. Is definitely not second as far as ranking order is concerned, because we would be down the bottom of the list there. But I just happened to have stacked yours up secondary here. So let's move into this one here. Jesse, talk us through what you normally do. Now, I don't have a previous example of your photography, but I've taken a fairly I guess active look at what your photography is doing. You use a professional, don't you?
Yes, I use a professional, kind of a 2-in-1 videographer, photographer that he was my wedding videographer 10 years ago. And so that kind of opened the gates here. So it's kind of, hey, come on in, let's get photos. And then we really specialized in creating some wild, video tours, right? So everything, I didn't put much into photos, didn't put much thought into video. I know the product looked great. This is what we're doing. This is how we're going, and kind of all inclusive, right? And I think that's the case, for most realtors. Like, hey, let's do the package price. Let's go. It's got the windows open. We got the staging. I think there's, till your mind's opened up a little bit more, where you can, or you allow yourself to look at details or go down the rabbit hole. This is just more of like cookie cutter. And I am very happy with the services that my man, Sean, has been creating for our properties for years. But now, with the power of these devices here, right? We see video, we see how it can communicate. It rarely makes a phone call, right? Like, I don't even want to call it a phone. It's your mobile camera. It's very impressive. And so it kind of just led to, I remember talking with Peter in Vegas and just being like, so tell me about the services that Box Brownie offers for content writing. I hate doing MLS write-ups. And he's like, are you kidding me? You're asking me about content writing? And he's like, well, what about brackets and all this stuff? We started looking at things, and I was like, a language I do not know. And I was with my business partner, Michael Thorne, who's a camera guru, and you guys were like, "Oh, look at this!" And I was like, "This isn't for me."
He got that excited. He had to walk off twice.
Oh yeah, right. Like, and so for me, and I can probably relate to or be relatable with a lot of people, is this ain't my wheelhouse. This is not my thing. It's not what I do. Right. I'll put it in the hands of the trusted people, and so beginning to dive into the services that Box Brownie has offered, with image enhancements, taking it to the next level. And I began to think and look, I'm like, ask my photographer questions like, can we get bracketing? Are you familiar with it? And some different conversations happened there that said, okay, well, I think my phone does this. And so it was top of mind on the radar. And sure as shit, Peter shows samples of his house and says, "Oh my gosh, here's what's up." Because I know we were in conversations about maybe a product that was coming down later in 2020, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, well, let's give this a whirl. You hear the Cole's notes, crack the code, let's go. So I was like, I got a little bit of time. Let's go play around with this. And it took me, I don't know, 10 minutes to figure out how to get these settings in. $8 to download the app. And I have a tripod.
That's $8 Canadian. It's 11 Australian, and is it $5 US?
It'll be around
$6.
There. Yeah,
$6 US.
Canadian's the same, isn't it?
It's not.
No,
They get it.
yeah, Lord, no.
Nope.
So I suppose I just want to thanks to all the watchers and listeners at the moment. Really appreciate it. I've got a bit of a challenge for you. I want everybody to check out their marketing and see if they can see outside the windows. If you can't, I'm here to help. Brad at BoxBrownie.com. Give me a personalized email. I'll either train you or your photographer how it's done.
Yeah.
So, Jesse, how did you go about it?
The whiteouts and the details. So I had a tripod, I had a mobile clip, and I had an empty house. So I'm like, all right, I'll go in and take a photo of the kitchen, the living room, and the 2 bedrooms, like natively, and then with through the app. And it probably took me longer the first go around because I didn't know where to put the tripod. And so as we're walking through here, this simple settings following the notes that Brad shared, I was able to figure out, I'm like, 7 brackets. This is amazing. Covers every single angle. And so I was excited. I got it all loaded in, sent it over, and wabam, here it is. Like,
yeah,
it blew my mind in a sense where, oh my gosh, look what I created with some help that I could do on the go with some help. If my photographer wasn't available, look what I was able to do. And it was like this sense of like, ooh, gold star, but just understanding how it could work. And sure, there's different things that a DSLR can do and so on and so forth. But for what the capabilities here, like I was blown away.
And I actually cracked up at 2 things. I cracked up laughing at 2 things you asked me. One of them was, well, one thing from Dale and one from you, Jesse. Jesse then asked me then if he would have to remove items from outside the window because they were so clear. So there's, you're looking at that one, there's a car across the road.
Yeah.
And up until now, that wouldn't have been visible. It would have been shrouded or something. But
ghosted.
The beauty is you all can remove that car if we wanted to. You can remove it.
We can.
We can. And look, outside windows need to be as clean looking as inside. So clutter, if you could have moved that car, let's pretend that was your car, get it out of the shot. But of course, we can remove things.
Yeah, see, I told him not to. I said make it look realistic and less. So
yeah.
that's my bad. He did actually ask.
It's really
not. What I would have done to make this better was turn on the lights, actually.
But he said that was another thing that Jesse said. I didn't even turn on the lights, and it was
well. The thing is too, like you begin to say, okay, do I turn on the lights? Then do I get different hue colors? Let's try to go it as natural as possible and see, right? Like there's if you've got sconces and all the lights turned on, do you want them all on or not? And like, this is my first time doing this. And I was just like, it was simple. It was shot in 30 minutes. It was edited and back to me within hours after submitting it. I was able to send this off quickly, and it didn't break the bank. So if I need something quick and on the go, boom, here it's done. But also, it now gets my mind opening for different conversations and knowledge sharing with my current photographer, videographer, but also being like, hey, maybe there's some other avenues to consider, right? And that's I'm my mind is still blown here. And I use this thing for just about everything. So it's just another check. Yep, that can be done.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you guys are like me, but as an agent, I had so much to carry around, like in my car. Your toolkit is so big that just another thing off that list is so much more valuable when you've got the phone that can do it on the fly. And I know, Jesse, you mentioned a couple of hours. Dale, how long was yours? I can't remember what you posted.
I think I got him back in about 2 hours, maybe 2.5 hours.
Yeah. So, I mean, we say 24 hours because there is a time where every man and his sister's girlfriend's dog's uncle's father is uploading stuff to our system, generally on a Thursday or a Friday. So right about now, thank you all for using us. But when they come through, that queue will extend. Both of you are obviously doing it at the start of the week because the result and the results that you both got was so far better than the one that I did, the ones that I actually posted. I think I had the settings wrong to start off with. I'm going to blame Brad, but he wasn't in my living room. But the results that we're looking at here are just that's absolutely outstanding. And that's the thing that got me excited as an agent practicing myself. If I could pull this off.
Oh, and this gets me excited as a photographer to know that, you know, people actually read our blogs and get real results. And like, I know it works, but it's so great to have these conversations. And we get pretty excited here at head office to see these sort of results because we know it works. And even back to your comment before, Jesse, like this can actually open up other opportunities within your business. Like I was only speaking to somebody yesterday in the US, and he's like saying, look, this has just opened up another opportunity for me with open listings. You might have a joint listing with other agents. Now you can offer premium marketing and shoot it yourself. And that way hopefully you're going to have better marketing than your competition on that open listing, which gives you the better chance at selling it. So it really does open up other opportunities. If you still want to keep your professional photographer, I'm all for that because I was one myself. And we're not here to steal their business. We promise that. But we're just here to offer another, I suppose, avenue for realtors all around the world to get world-class marketing and just do it themselves.
And so to both of you, how do you see something like this? Like, is this a game changer for your business? Is this going to impact anything at all? I mean, I don't want you to
go ahead,
tell you you're going to fire your professional photographer or anything like that. But will you use it moving forward?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay. I'll go ahead. So for me, years ago, I a couple different times tried to hire photographers locally to shoot, and almost always I was disappointed with the images that I got back. And so I enjoy photography just as a hobby anyway. And so photography is something that when I couldn't find somebody that I really liked and I felt good about their images, I took it upon myself. And that's when I got the wide angle lens and really was trying to do it at a higher level. And, you know, for me, my goal is always when the marketing goes out, the words I want to hear from my seller is, I want to buy my house. And when I hear those words, I know I've done my job right. And I will tell you on every listing I get, that's what the seller says. As soon as I send them the marketing materials and everything with the photos that have been done with the brackets, with my DSLR, with the wide angle lens that have been edited by BoxBrownie, the result is they always say, I want to buy my house. I'm like, good, okay, I've done my job. So this, you were talking about, you know, carrying stuff. So if I'm going to do a shoot, I'm packing this to go. With what just happened, $5.99 later, I will now be carrying this with a tripod and this that's always in my pocket at all times anyway. No, so I used to have the different, like I don't remember, Olo clip. I had like Olo clip lenses to put on my, well, then I had to take my case off of my phone in order to put the lenses on. It was always obnoxious. So for me, what has happened is this is a game changer because I was already shooting my own images anyway, but I now don't have to pack I don't have to make sure that my batteries are charged, that my camera is ready, that the lens is clean, that I've got everything set, that the memory card is formatted, like all of those steps that I had to do every time I was going out to do a shoot. I don't have to do that. I grab my phone, which is already in my pocket. I grab that and my tripod, and I'll probably now just keep a tripod in my car. And what I did when you were talking about the Camera Pixels app, so you already mentioned you're gonna put the settings on here. I mean, literally, I read your post. I found where Brad gave the settings. I went through the settings in each one, and I opened the app, and I just step by step went through exactly the settings. And here's the beautiful thing: when I got done with them, it asks me if I want to save that as a preset. So my preset is BoxBrownie. So I saved it as BoxBrownie preset. So now when I go into that app to use it, I just simply go to my BoxBrownie setting. And when I push that shutter, I'm getting all of those settings done. I don't have to keep resetting it every time. It's done. Then I get home. I can send them to, I mean, now that they're on the phone, the images, and that's the other thing with the DSLR, I had to transfer them off of my camera into my computer so that I could do that. So it was just another step in the process. And now that's not a step I have to do either because they're already in, I work in an iCloud setting, and with all the Apple products, they all talk to each other. So when I get home, they show up on my iMac and they're already ready to go. So I just need to upload them into the BoxBrownie system and let you guys do your thing.
Yeah, brilliant.
It's a great workflow.
Yeah, and you know what? A lot of those things, Dale, that you mentioned there, I'm not even down the rabbit hole. You guys are, and already just like mobile, convenient, time saving. I feel like I'm a little bit more understanding of my marketing, knowing all this now, which is already here, and I love it, right? Because it allows our skill set to help showcase others, and I think that's how we're wired as people. So it's another thing that fills our cup to give. And not gonna lie, review your budget. This may help a little bit. You know what I mean? Right? So it's one of those things, and I asked Peter too. I was just like, can I load them straight up onto the site on here? And you're like, yes, you can. So while I'm having a coffee down the street after I'm done or in my car, let's get loading these on. Let's get after it, right? And I'm just like, I do it in so many other ways when it comes to video, e-signatures, all these things. I'm like, snap, man. The bar is being raised in our industry by companies and teamwork and sharing and cracking these codes. Because you know what? Think about this. Like, why didn't Apple put these manual settings into the phone to begin with? Right? When it first came out, everyone's like, why the fuck is it not here? Part of my language.
We don't know.
But then you hear the Androids. Well, like, it's all there. Well, this says, forget it, man. So I appreciate you taking the time to figure this out in those settings. And I'm sure there's some others out there, but thank you for sharing it, because not everyone's going to share it. And that's the beautiful thing about the people at BoxBrownie is they're sharing. They're wanting to help us, not say, hey, pay and you get the code. So thank you guys.
I think we get to test all the latest and greatest, camera technology. Yeah. It's just fun. We love it, if you can't tell.
Yeah,
and
but
we love having these conversations.
Yeah, it's not just that. The thing, I think at the end of the day, I'm grateful that you're both using BoxBrownie, but what I prefer to hear is that it's actually benefiting your business in some way. Yeah. So, most of what we do is based around.
Pardon me. It's benefiting my business. My clients' jobs are dropping and the homes are selling. By the way, we're still selling during all of this, and it is help with our image enhancements, our all the other goodies that are being provided. And now this is just another step. So it is ROI is insane.
Yeah, I would love to elaborate on that, especially right now. So every region is different in terms of what they can and can't do right now. The beauty about this is, let's say right now somebody's watching in a state where they cannot go to a house. We can limited go in certain situations, but there are states right now where you can't go into somebody's home, and maybe they have to sell their house right now. And so in that case, you need to try and provide the best marketing opportunity available This now offers, whether they're on an Android or an iPhone, this solution is something that you could get on a FaceTime call or a Zoom call with your client and say, you know what, I'm going to go into the App Store and I'm going to buy this app and I'm going to send it to you as a gift. So they're not even spending the $6 on the app or the $8 or whatever. You send them the app and say, let me walk step by step through, because a lot of us struggle with the technology, and I know for a fact that a lot of the consumers do too. But if you could walk them step by step, say, okay, we're going to click here. Do you see that? Yes. Go to this setting, set it. Go to this setting, set it. And talk them through it. They may not have a tripod, but they may have a chair and a box. Like, they have something to stabilize that image. Like, get a ladder and some duct tape or some painter's tape, whatever it is. Find a way to stabilize an image at the right height and have them shoot the images, send them to you. You send them to BoxBrownie. You're now creating marketing that looks to the level of what you've seen the images today, and you never had to step foot in that house. That's not ideal for the normal situation, but if you're in a state right now where you can't do it, this is a service you can provide to your clients to provide a better marketing opportunity for them to be able to truly showcase their home in a situation where people aren't doing walkthroughs, which means they have to look at it virtually, and you want to give them the best representation of the home possible.
And there are some states and provinces around the world where that happens regularly. So here in Queensland, for example, we have legislation that stops us taking photos of tenants' furniture or any kind of goods and chattels of tenants. So for a lot of the property managers here, they will go and take the photos. They'll actually ask the tenant to take the photos while they're in there. If the tenant does it, we're allowed to display it. So it's a weird loophole or workaround as far as that's concerned. So this benefits property managers greatly, where the budget's just not there to rent. Commercial agents in particular. I think if you're a luxury agent, you turn up with an iPhone to shoot a property, you might be in a bit of trouble just as far
until
as
they see the photos.
Well, that's true. I do stand by that. I've seen enough luxury shooting to know that I could do better on an iPhone than some of it going around. Please take another photo of the toilet for me.
With it open.
Yeah, with it open. That's it. Look, lads, we have used up a lot of your time, and I really want to thank you both, Jesse Peters, all the way from Winnipeg, and Dale Chumbley from Vancouver, Washington. It's so good to see you online this morning. I'm sorry we can't be having a beer. That's probably the most disappointing part about getting to see your face. It's like a carrot dangling in front of me. We could be drinking a beer at a bar somewhere.
It's like a flirt, isn't it?
Dale generally just has a water anyway, so let's be honest. But it's... Yeah, there we go. But it's good to see you guys. Thank you so much for coming on board. Thank you for using BoxBrownie.
Appreciate your support, gents, so much. And
absolutely.
Yeah, we just love it. It's great.
Yeah, the funny thing about what both of you have done is you actually perfected the art for us. All I did was throw it out as kind of teaser. If you look at your photo quality compared to mine, as I said earlier, it's just light years ahead. So you've actually got the settings right. I had stuffed them up at my end. It's not Brad's fault. I just threw him under the bus before. But great to see you guys. Look, just for a recap, if you've only just joined at the end and you want to know what we spoke about, using any kind of smartphone, you can download Camera Pixels Pro, or the other one's called...
I should know.
I've forgotten the name of the other one. But
something
let me get
really long on an Android.
Yeah, something really long on an Android.
Procam,
or...
It's called Get an iPhone.
Yeah.
It's on our blog anyway. So BoxBrownie.com. Up top right, there's a blog section. All the details are there. A lot of people are actually asking about our 360 virtual tours as well on the chats, but we might do another one of these calls and update the users on that too.
Yeah. So the app, the tripod, the camera bracket, take the photos using the settings that are available on BoxBrownie.com/B. You're going to have to edit them because you can't use them. They are unusable in that format. Upload the 7 brackets to us. Give it a try. See how it comes back. It's $1.60 US. It's $2 Canadian, $2 Australian. So whatever you are doing, just try and do your best at that. We'd love to hear feedback. Brad's on all social medias except Tinder and Grindr, and I'm on all social media also except Tinder and Grindr.
So you know that.
So you can,
TikTok me.
you can find us there. Also, look up Jesse Peters. He posts some really cool stuff on a regular basis about videos. Yesterday, I was following that one with great interest. Mr. Dale Chumbley, it's good to see you. Everyone press follow Dale as well, because between the two of you, you are on the cutting edge of the industry as far as I can see. But I thank you again for joining. I'm going to say stay safe and ciao.
And
Thank
just
you
for
all.
the record, I just
Jesse.
got a message from my buddy who's like, look at the product that Box Brownie just did. Data Dusk. I talked to him yesterday. Ryan Shields, legit, just sent this to me.
The Data Dusk is ridiculous. If you haven't used the Data Dusk, you don't have to even worry about what time of the day you take the picture. But I know this isn't about that. But I love that feature.
No, that's fine. Thank you for the plug. Jesse, who do we need to give a shout out to? Who's your mate?
Ryan Shields out of Brandon, Manitoba.
Hey,
Another
Ryan
island of the prairie.
Yeah, thank you for.
You know what, Brad? I appreciate the tutorials that you've done. Just prepping a house for photos and anything. Video guy to a video guy. Really appreciate sharing that education. So it's great for our industry.
You're right. And regardless of using BoxBrownie or not, you're right, Jesse. The tools that you guys, the resource you provide in education is invaluable.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, the videos are a lot of fun. It's a great way for me to keep my skills up and you know, and a great excuse for me to talk to, you know, great gents like yourself. So yeah, plenty more where that come from.
I just quick shout out to all the people that joined us on Facebook, and especially Brian Copeland, who's been trolling you the entire time. Dale, you can have a look at that later.
Poke my eye out. Put that thing back.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I'll leave you guys to it. Stay safe and have a great weekend, eh?
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
There we are, Dale. Oh, it's still going.
Is it live? Hey, we're still live. What do we want to talk about?
It's our show now.
This is perfect. Do you think they're going to kill it, or are we just going to just hang out here?
But seriously, so easy and so awesome. Like I couldn't believe it.
My photo budget per listing is about $40.
Yeah. Yeah. I can see that happening with mine now.
And I just and like I know you've got a relationship and that's cool. And then I got the Ricoh Theta V.
Yep. I've got that.
I'm shooting my 360s and yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, this is great. I love we're still live on their channel.
Yeah, Brian just said, hey, please stay. So I guess we'll just keep staying.
Oh, wait, do we have live comments? Oh, I had it on private chat. There was nothing there. There's like a whole conversation.
This is amazing. We've taken over the BoxBrownie StreamYard.
This is perfect.
This is amazing.
You know what? If they leave, I'm good. What time is it there? What time are you?
Yeah, it's 7 p.m. here.
Oh, okay. So it's 5 p.m. So you're just 2 hours ahead. So whereabouts? Where? Like I know you said the 28-hour thing, but like whereabouts are you? Like
North Dakota. I'm